Hello guys, Dan here from Dan's Tech, and in today's video guys I'm going to be bringing you the £800 gaming PC build. Now this build guys is going to contain the i5, the 4690K, that is a 3.5GHz chip which does turbo to 3.9GHz, and yeah, for the GPU we're going to be picking up the R9 390X. That card is slightly slower than the GTX 980, but it's a lot cheaper in the UK anyway. And then yeah, we're also going to be choosing a 250GB SSD and a 1TB hard drive. Then, going with an SSD and a hard drive, it really is the way to go. And to be honest, really fast boot times and launching up programs and just system responsiveness from the SSD. And then a terabyte for your games. Terabyte's a lot of space for games. And yeah, you could even shove a few on the SSD. Anyway guys, let's kind of jump into it. As always, all the links are in the description for you guys to click on. And yeah, I do guarantee compatibility. Every single one of these parts will work together well. And yeah, they won't just work together. They work together well. And this build, if anything, is tuned towards gaming, and you're getting a lot of performance here in games. And you can expect to play anything in high or ultra. Well, should we just say ultra at 1080p, and even some games at 1440p. Anyhow, let's get on to the build, and yeah, let me guys show you what I've chose for the £800 gaming PC. First up, for the processor, we're going to be grabbing the Intel Core i5 4690K. This is a 3.5GHz processor which turbos to 3.9GHz. The processor itself has 6MB of smart cache, 4 cores, 4 threads, and a maximum TDP of 88 watts. The processor itself is unlocked as it's a K SKU, so if you grab a aftermarket CPU cooler in the future, you can indeed overclock it quite a bit. Now, also the motherboard, we're going to be grabbing the MSI Z97 PCMate motherboard. This is a motherboard with the Z97 Express chipset, so you can expect some rich features like RAID and also 6GB SATA ports. Now this motherboard, first up, it does support 4th and 5th generation of Intel Core processors on the LG1150 socket. It also has 4 DDR3 DIMM slots, supporting up to 3000 MHz RAM and 32GB maximum capacity. The DIMM slots themselves do also support dual channel memory architecture and do support the Intel Extreme Memory profiles to get your RAM running at the maximum possible speed. Now, as for the PCI Express slots and all that kind of stuff, we have 2 PCI Express x16 slots with support for AMD Crossfire technology, and we also have 2 PCI Express x1 slots for Wi-Fi and sound cards, and we also have 2 legacy PCI slots for legacy cards, pun not really intended there. Now, as for connectivity, we have 6 SATA 3 6GB ports, which all support RAID 0, 1, 5 and 10. And as for the USBs, we have 4 USB 3s, 2 on the back panel, 2 via internal USB headers, and then yeah, we do also have 8 USB 2 ports, 4 ports via the back panel, and 4 ports through internal USB headers. Now, as for the RAM, we're going to be grabbing the forever cheap Kingston HyperX 3 memory. We're going to be picking up 2 4GB blue memory modules running at 1866 MHz for under £32. Core specs include 8GB total capacity and also the speed 1866 MHz and cache latency of 10. And also the storage, we're going to be grabbing an SSD and also a hard drive, as explained at the beginning. So yeah, for the SSD, we're going to be grabbing the Samsung 850 EVO, a 250GB drive. It's a 2.5-inch internal SSD with read speeds all the way up to 540 megabytes per second and write speeds up to 520 megabytes per second. This is all backed by a 5-year warranty by Samsung itself, so yeah, if you do have any problems with the SSD or it dies, you can get a replacement. Now, as for the hard drive, we're going to be grabbing a generic Seagate Barracuda 1TB drive, 7 to 200 RPM, 64 MB of cache, and it does run via the 6GB SATA interface. There we are. Now, as for the GPU, we're going to be grabbing the Asus R9 390X. It's an 8GB video card. Now, this card itself has 2816 stream processors, all running at 1070 MHz. This thing is pretty damn fast, and it also has 8GB of GDDR5 VRAM via a 512-bit memory interface. Now, as for the ports, this card has 3 display ports, a DVI-D and also HDMI. And as for power, this card does, well, shall I say the card can use up to 300 watts of total power, so you do need a 6-pin and also an 8-pin PCI Express power connector. We do have these on the power supply, so no need to worry about that. Now, the card itself is pretty long at 30 centimeters, but we have took this in consideration, and here we have chosen the Corsair 200R, and this will definitely fit in there. Now, I will say the 390X is pretty damn fast. It's not as fast as the GTX 980, but it is considerably cheaper than the 980, so there we are. Now as for the case, we're going to be grabbing the Corsair Carbide series. It's a 200R. Now this is a compact ATX case, and as again I'll mention it, as Corsair put on their website, it's a case for easy builds, and personally from me looking inside the case, it's a very good internal layout. It does support up to 4 hard drives and 4 SSDs at the same time, which is absolutely brilliant. And as for graphic cards, all the way up to 30cm with room up to 43cm graphic cards if the hard drive cages are removed. And also CPU coolers, it supports up to 16cm height coolers, and as for fans, it can support up to 8 different locations of fans, depending on your particular hard drive configurations that you go with. Now lastly, for the power supply, we're going to be grabbing the Corsair CX600, 600 watts of very good clean power. The actual PSU itself is 80 plus bronze certified and has nice sleeved cables. There we are. The CX600, I don't know how many of these things Corsair sold, but this is a very renowned power supply. Millions of people, yep, I'm going to say that, millions of people have this power supply. It's very, very good, and to be honest, it's pretty damn cheap, and many other manufacturers are really struggling to compete with Corsair since this thing, since this and a lot of Corsair's power supplies in the CX line, they're very cheap for what they are, and to be honest, they're really reliable, so there we are, we'll keep it there. Anyhow, let's kind of get on to the outro. So guys, there are all the parts for the £100 gaming PC. Now this build is pretty damn high end. A 390X is a pretty damn fast card, and to be honest, that over £300 you'd kind of expect it to be. Now as for the video games you're going to be playing, you can expect to play anything at 1080p. With even some games at 40 and 40p, the 390X will definitely be able to handle that, and with it having the 8GB of video memory, it definitely will not slow down at all. Now, in general, the i5 that can be overclocked. You will need to grab a cooler if you do want to do some serious overclocking. Apart from that, this is a nice system. As I mentioned at the beginning, you do get the SSD for just really good system responsiveness, and the fact that you can boot up your operating system and all your programs ridiculously fast. There we are. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Just want to let you again, do guarantee compatibility, and that all parts are in the description. You'll find Amazon UK and Amazon US links there. If you guys want to check out any other PC builds for November/December of 2015, there'll be a playlist in the description. And yeah, without further ado, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, and also subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.